Hello, everybody, and welcome to our finale review of Daredevil: Born Again. Um, this episode kind of goes with kind of its plot lines kind of thread between each other, but also they're kind of separate. So, but I'm going to talk about what happens with Daredevil at the beginning because after the last episode, he got shot. So he's in the hospital recovering. His law partner and his girlfriend are there, and and he's like, "Karen, are you there?" And of course, that is not Heather's name, so she gets mad. It's like, "You need to rest," and she goes away. And now, because of what happened at the gala or ball for Fisk has gone all out, sending the vigilante task force against everybody, against every vigilante, against everyone that he thinks could ever cross him. Goes and arrests or kills all of them. He also gets uh, he he tells the police commissioner, uh, or he gets the police commissioner. Well, let's just say he grabbed his head and squeezed it like a watermelon. So now the commissioner can't say anything about him and his task force. And for the whole plotline of Fisk, of course, there's been the stuff with Fisk and Vanessa, which has been my least favorite part of this show because it just feels kind of out of place. But they're back together. She kills Adam for Fisk, and they fall in love again or whatever. But Fisk, of course, ordering a hit on Daredevil. Um, Fisk ordering the hit on Daredevil. He sends Buck to go and take out Matt at the hospital. But Matt was smart enough, so when the lights went out, he escaped from his room and got away. And then goes back to his apartment, and of course, the Punisher is inside of his apartment. And while they're talking, and Punisher's like, "Why didn't you take out Fisk? Why didn't you let him get shot?" He's like, "I honestly don't know. That's a good question." And then Fisk task force shows up, breaks down the doors, FBI open up type stuff, and there's a massive bloody brawl with Daredevil, Punisher, and the task force. And then it's like, why did you do this to the last guy that's alive? And the dude's like, "You're not getting nothing out of me." And then he threw a grenade, and they jumped out the window, him and Punisher, because the explosives were all going off. So, but they land on a car and are walking in the street, and then Karen pulls up and says, like, "Get over here, boys." So Karen is back to help Matt and Frank and uh, Frank fulfilled his end of the deal with Karen. He said, like, saying that he would protect Matt and keep him safe under the while the vigilante hunt was going on. And so Punisher's like, the investigation stuff's not for me, but they figured out that Foggy was right about a lot of stuff, and that he was excited that the case would get dismissed, but they now know that he was going against Vanessa Fisk and the Fisk. So that's why Bullseye had that contract out on him, because as we see in this episode, Vanessa hired Bullseye to take out Foggy. So he will not reveal their business dealings, the 420 type stuff, business dealings. So the next part is him and Karen are investigating in Foggy's files that are in storage, and they find out that Fisk wants to take over that Red Port district, to take over the whole. So he can because they figured out that he can smuggle anything in there and it be completely legal. Anything that he wanted, arms, bombs, just any illegal substances, he could smuggle through that port legally because there's no contracts or no nothing there. And now that Fisk has got it under his mayorship, now they have created the biggest cartel empire right in the city, and it's all for themselves. So that's when Karen and Matt go to investigate the harbor, and at the same time, this is when Fisk takes out the police commissioner, like I talked about earlier. He gets some of his men to bring the police commissioner there, and he takes him out. He's done so. And then then Frank, or the Punisher, gets he's on the police line. He has a breach into their system, and he was hearing about how they were taking all these innocent people, and either killing them or arresting them and taking them to the pier in the harbor as well. And that's when Frank goes over there to confront them. And he takes out a lot of these corrupt cops, corrupt task force, but he gets beaten down. And then that's the last we see of Frank through the episode. Well, no, it's not that. They beat him down, and then they're like, we're such big fans of you, and we're such big fans of our work. And he's like, how can you be a fan of my work? And how can you don't understand? You don't know my pain. You don't know what sacrifices I've had to make, what I've been through, to even understand why I'm the Punisher. So he's like, you're just a bunch of idiots, basically a bunch of pussies, and calls him out, and he gets beat by the corrupt task force. And then this is shown at the end of the episode, but it's with the Punisher storyline. We see Frank at the end in the post-credit scene, where him and all of Fisk's accomplices are in jail. Well, not accomplices, but all of the vigilantes and everyone that could go against Fisk is in jail. Well, not in jail, but he got all of them in cages and has his men watching them. But they're in that same warehouse area, same part where he was keeping Adam, so he's holding all these people for hostage. And the post-credit scene shows that Frank was talking to a cop, and he got him, and he says he starts chatting him up, trying to be like, oh, I can be your friend, we can talk. And then he breaks the dude's arm and escapes the jail cell, which is also a tease for the new Punisher special coming out next year, and also Daredevil Born Again Season 2. But basically, the end of this episode, Fisk Task Force is still going crazy. They're still hunting people down, taking them out, arresting, as we saw, he's taking out every opponent he's had. He didn't get Daredevil or Karen. They managed to evade his grasp because Karen's like, Matt, you can go in there and try and beat Fisk right now at the port. And she's like, you're going to die, or you're going to get captured, or worse. She's like, we need an army. We need people to go against him. And he's like, well, where can we get that army? And then the good cops, Cherry, Josie, Karen, basically every friend he's had throughout Daredevil and Born Again, and knows about Daredevil and stuff. They're going to help him. They're assembling a new small vigilante force to take on Mayor Fisk. and take him out. And through the ending shots, like the ending shots of like what is going to lead into the next season, we see that Heather Glenn, Matt's now former girlfriend in this show, is now working as Fisk's mental health person, like the cabinet of mental health or whatever for his mayorship. So she's gone against Matt and is with Fisk now, like working with Fisk. And like that's about it. Like the Daredevil storyline is Daredevil is assembling his vigilante force to take down Mayor Fisk. Punisher has escaped Fisk jail, and Fisk and Vanessa are taking over the city. So that was the end of Daredevil Born Again. And I thought it was a good finale. In terms of this whole show, though, because I've heard points of both sides really like this, and there's some people that don't. I do think this is really about a 7 or an 8 out of 10 show entirely. It's not perfect at all. And some of the things were a little... Some stuff in the show was a little weird. But besides that, I really did enjoy myself with Daredevil Born Again. I thought the finale was pretty decent. But in terms of the whole show, it is a 8 out of 10 for me. But I think you should still watch it if you're interested. But there were parts of this show that did feel off for some of the characters, some of the decisions. But besides that, I do think it's an 8 out of 10. And I think it deserves a watch for sure. It's one of the better shows I've watched recently. So if you want to go watch it, give it a shot. It's on, Disney Plus. And I will see you next time for Andor Season 2, Episodes 1 through 3, which I'm really excited to cover. But yeah, thank you all for watching, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.